Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'll be making a pencil gown fully lined. So I'll be using, this is my Ankara fabric. It's 3 yards. This is my hairstay. It has gum on a sugary part that has gum on it that used to gum on your fabric, and this is my lining. So these are the basic things I need with my zip, my gown zip. So I'll be making my pencil gown. This is actually a subscriber request, so that's what I'm doing now. So I'll be using this beautiful fabric. So let's get right into the class. So the first thing I'll be doing is making the down part of my pencil dress. So I've already made pattern for the upper part like we've watched in our last video. So that will be what I'll be using to cut the upper part. So now for the down part, I want to do my drafting directly on my fabric. So I'll be doing that now. So first I'll fold into 2. So how do you know what to fold? You have to add all your allowances that you need. So because I'm using 2 inches allowance for my sides and 2 inches for my zip allowance, that's so my zip allowance, that will make it 4 inches. My side, I have 4 sides. That's 2 sides for my front, 2 sides for my back. So that makes it 8. So 8 plus 4, that gives me 12. So I'll be adding 12 inches to my hip measurement. So 12 inches plus 34 inches, that gives me 56 inches. Sorry, that gives me 46 inches. So 46 inches is what I measured, and I folded into 2 first. This will give me 23 inch. So I have 23 inch here. On this side I have 23 inch. So I'll be folding again into 4. So now I've folded into 4. So you can see this is my zip allowance. I didn't fold completely on this side. So I left my 2 inches for my zip. 2 inches for my zip. You can see 2 inches. So that is where my other folding stopped at. So now the first measurement I'll be taking will be my waist measurement. But before I do that, I have to measure my allowance for my waist, which is 1 inch. So my measurement will be starting from here. This is just my waist allowance. So on my waistline, I'll be placing my waist measurement divided by 4. Waist measurement divided by 4, which is 6.5. I will add 1 inch for my that allowance. That will give me 7.5. Then I will now add my sewing allowance, which is 2 inches. This is 9.5. 7.5, 9.5. So this is it. 9.5. I've marked it. So now we're taking my hip measurement now. So my waist to hip is 8 inches. So I'll do my hip line. So on my hip line, I'll take my hip measurement divided by 4. Hip measurement divided by 4, which is 8.5. I'll be adding my sewing allowance. Note now, I'm not adding that. That is just for the waist aspect. So I'm adding my sewing allowance for my sides, which is 2 inches. So 2 inches plus 8.5, that will give me 10.5. You can see I have exactly 10.5 here. That's because I already calculated my allowance, so I won't waste fabric. So I have my 10.5 here. So my allowance is already included. So the next measurement I'll be taking is my waist to knee measurement. So how do I calculate my waist to knee measurements? Normally my short gown is actually 36 inches. So I'll measure my upper part, which is 14 inches. 14 inches is for my upper part. So I have to measure my short gown length now to get my knee measurement. So I'm using 36. So this is 36 now. This is my knee measurement. So for my knee, I'll take my full length measurement for my gown, and the full length measurement for my gown is 53. So I'll be placing 53 measurements I hope you can see that. This is my knee measurement 36. So now my full length measurement 53, which is what I want to use, 53. As when I was sewing an A-shaped gown or something, I'll use 55 actually because I like it flowing. So this is 56. So I'll rule my line on my 56, on my 36, I mean, sorry, please. I hope you can see both lines and my hip line. Okay, now. So this is my hip measurement. I'll measure what I have on my hip, which is what, 10.5. Yeah. So I'll be removing 1.5 from it. 1.5 from that 10.5. That will give me 9 inch. So I'll be placing 9 inch here. 9 inch. So the same 1 inch, 9 inch. I'll be placing it on the hem also. So now I'll be connecting all my lines now. So this is how I make my pencil gown most times. But if you want, instead of taking your 1.5 here, you can actually take it here. So you just connect from your hip to that line like that. So you can see this is everything for my skirt. So I'll be cutting out. So we've not added allowance for this hem line. So I'll add my hem allowance. I'll be using 1 inch. 1 inch hem allowance. So after which I'll cut out what? My lining. So when I cut my lining, instead of my lining getting to this 1 inch hem allowance, it will be stopping at this line here. My main measurement. English is hard, please. I won't be. So now my skirt is ready, as you can see. Yes, you can call it the skirt also. You can sew your skirt like this. So let me say the down part of my gown is ready. So I'll be cutting now. So before cutting my sides now, I want to indicate where my slit will be starting from. So my slit here, I'll go above a little bit. Yeah, this is my knee line. So my slit will go above my knee line a bit by 1.5 inch. Some people make their slits go higher. Depends on how comfortable you are. But mine, this is where my slit will be. So I'll just notch it to indicate. So also now, I want to place my darts on my waist. So my dart placement now. So I always like my dart aligning with what? My upper part. So I want to know where my, instead of using my nipple to nipple measurement, I'll be measuring what I have here to place what my darts. Here I have 2.5. This is my center front. So this is my center for my front also and my center back also. So 2.5. So this is 2.5. But you know, I can't place my darts directly on this 2.5 because if I should place it there, that means I'll be holding like this. So by the time I take my darts, it will fall towards 2 inches. So instead of placing directly on 2.5, I'll be placing it on what? 3 inches. So when I fold, it will fall back towards 2.5. I hope you understand what I said here, please. So you understand by the time I sew sharp. So this is what 3 inches. So I'll be notching there to let me know that this is what my dart placement area. So I'm notching it. Hope you see what I did there. So this is it. I notched. I measured was 3 inches from here. This is my center from here to here. So I notched, and here I came up by 1.5 inch for my slits. So I'll be cutting my sides out now. So this is the down part. I'll cut out my lining now. Remember I said my lining will be stopping on this line. My lining is stopping on this line. So I'll cut out my lining, after which I'll take my darts on both my lining and my fabric for this part. So I'll take in my dart, my waist dart. My waist dart, it will be 5 inches long. So 5 inches. Remember, I'm starting from here. So plus this upper part, that makes your 6 inches. So I'll measure while I'm sewing to know where I'll stop. So I've taken my dart for my skirt. This is my skirt. So I've taken my dart, I've ironed it. You can see this is the front side, this is the wrong side of the outfit. So this is where my dart is. So this is my dart. And also for my backs, also the back skirts. When I say skirt, you should know it's just the downside of my gown. So I've taken the dart also. This is the right side, this is the wrong side for both. And I've ironed also. And I also did the same for my lining. I took that also on my lining. You can see, ironed. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to turn my front skirts with my lining. So I'm placing the front side. This is my front side of my fabric. This is the wrong side, and this is the front side of my lining. So I have to face them both together. They have to align. I will ensure my dart also aligns. You can see this. You can see. So remember I said your lining has to be shorter than your Ankara fabric. So you can see it here. You can see this. So the first thing I'll be doing now is I'll bring this lining down to this place, to the same line with this. Then I'll sew on 0.5 inch. I'll sew on 0.5 inch. That's what I'm doing first. I'll do the same also for the back. So this is it. I've sewn. Can you see that? Show it. Yeah, so I've sewn. So the next thing I'll be doing is what? I'll be pulling it up. Remember our allowance for this place was 1 inch. Okay, this is even the chalked place. So I have to pull it up to that chalked place. Like this. So I'll ensure I have 1 inch here. Like this. Ensure you pull out your lining. Your lining should not be folded inside. You pull it out like this. Yeah, so after that I'll pin it down on this side too. Ensure. So you ensure you have what? 1. If you are not certain, you can use your tape to measure, because this is a beginner's class. So I'm being careful now. So you can measure as a beginner. No, when you get used to it, you can just use your hand to get your measurements. But when you're just learning, you have to be measuring to be accurate. So can you see that? So I'll pin it like that. Then I'll pin my sides, that is my lining, to my fabric. I'll pin them. Also my sides now, from my waist down on 0.5 inch. I'll be sewing on 0.5 inch till I get to the end of my fabric, to this place, to the length of my gown. So I'll sew on 0.5 to this place. I'll do also for that side. I'll do the same for my back. I'll pull up from here on 1 inch. So after I've done that, I'll sew the two sides, the sides here and the center also. I'll sew it also on 0.5 inch. So this is it. This is the side of my back. So I've done it for both my front also. You can see I've done for my front. This is my front. I've sewn by the sides. This is my second back. I've sewn by the sides also. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to turn it out and iron. So this is my front pattern. I've cut it out. I added 0.5 to hold this edge. 0.5 here. But to this side I added 2 inch, and here I added 1 inch. So also for the center piece also, I did the same thing. I added 0.5 So all this edge 0.5 here, 0.5 to this place, and on this place I added 1 inch. Yeah, so I was planning on actually cutting this place out first and using a separate fabric for this side, but I changed my mind. So I'll be using just my Ankara. I don't want to complicate this class because I want it to be just for beginners. Yes, and I want beginners to actually understand it. So I don't want to do any paparazzi. Yeah, I actually planned because this fabric is so fine. I planned a lot of paparazzi, but anyhow, what won't I do for my subscribers? So that's my front pattern. So for my back pattern, I also added my allowance, my 2 inch allowance to the side, 2 inch allowance. So I just use my normal basic bodies. So from the shoulder to the half length, I stopped at my half length. So, and this is my zip allowance. This is my zip allowance. Yeah, so that's my zip allowance. So my basic bodies is actually from here to like this area here. So these are my allowance. This is my zip allowance. So, and this is my dart. The only thing I did that is different now is that for my dart placement, I measured what I have from here to here because I want it to be the same thing also for the back. So I measured what I have here and it was 2.5 here. So if I want that here, so this is where my dart is starting from, 2.5. This is 2.5 here. Yeah, but I marked it on 3 inch because by the time I fold like this, you know, I will take our waist start. When I fold on this 3 inch now, so my dart will approximately fall on the 2.5 inch. So when I take my dart up to this place, yeah, so it will fall on that 2.5 inch. So that's why I marked what? The 3 inch, yes, for both. So that's why I'll be taking, I'm just taking my waist start for this. That's all. And my neck only came down by 1 inch for my neck, but my neck width is the same with my front neck because that's to align. So I've cut lining for everything, cut lining, and I've also cut stay for it, which I will iron on my main fabric on this wrong side. This is my main side, so I'll be ironing stay on this part of my Ankara. So what I'll be doing next is first iron my hairstay. After I iron my hairstay, I'll take my waist dart for this. I'll take my waist dart and I'll also join my front pattern, the Ankara to Ankara first, and I'll also join my lining to my lining also. So that's what I'm doing first. So this is my back. I've taken my darts and my waist dart for it. And I can see I've ironed my hairstay on it already. So I'll be turning with the lining. For the lining also, I've also taken the darts. You can see on my lining I took my darts. Yes. So I'll be turning with my lining. Yeah. So this is the front place facing the front. This is where my dart is. So this is the wrong side of my lining. This is the wrong side of my lining. You can see where the dart is. So I'm placing this place on the right side also, like this. So I'll be sewing from here on 0.5 inch. I'll sew my neckline like that. I'll stop at my shoulder, after which I'll take the sides also. I'll go by 0.5 inch and sew for that. That's for my back. While for my front, this is my front. I've joined the pieces together. You can see I've joined my front together. And also for the lining also, I've joined them together also. You can see. So when joining this, you have to start from this down part. You're starting from here. You're joining from here. So this is how you take to your machine to sew. From here till you get to this place. You can see I've ironed also. And I ironed it open. So now I'll be turning my neckline. This is my lining also. Can see how I placed it. This is the wrong side of the lining where I sewed, and this is the right side. So I place it on the right side also of the fabric. So I'll pin down because I also want to turn. So now I'll turn. Can see, so I'll be sewing on 0.5. Remember, that's the allowance I left. Following my neck pattern, when I come here, get here, I'll make a curve, then I'll continue like this. When I get here, I'll make a curve, continue like this till I get to this side. So I'll stop here and I'll stop here. These are my shoulders, so I'm stopping here for the sewing. So then I'll sew my sides also on 0.5. I'll sew this side on 0.5. So now I have my down part fully lined, my upper part fully lined. You can see I've turned the neck and I notched the inside, notched it so it can, the side of the neck can sit well. You can see I've ironed also for my upper part. This is my back. You can see them. So these are all our pieces now. It's time to join everything together now. They are all fully lined now. All fully lined, both the upper part and the lower part all lined. So the first thing I'll be joining now is the upper part for my front and the lower part for my front. I'll be joining them. Remember, our sewing allowance for it is what? 1 inch. Yes. So I also ensure that my darts align. That's my most important part first. My darts have to what? Align as much as possible. Can see this, so I'll pin it there. So you can see my dart aligns. Ensure you are picking your lining together with it too. So I'll pin it. So I'll sew on 1 inch. On 1 inch. If you try it and your line does not align, maybe it's your first time, just leave it like that. When you keep sewing, you get better at it. So I'll join it on 1 inch like that. That will give me my full front body. This is what it will look like after joining. You can see my darts aligning, So I'll have these full bodies. This full front. So I'll do the same for my back. For this back, it might be tricky if you do not have hip, but learn to get where your hip area is. You can see this is my hip area. This is my hip area. So this is my center. This is my center back. So what I'll be doing now is to also look for my back also for the upper parts. Okay, so this is for this, and this is for this one. You can see, so I'll place like this, and also fix them together, ensuring my darts aligns. I'm most concerned about my darts. So this is my front. Okay, so I'll be joining my backs now. I'll place them like this. So the next thing I'm doing is to join my backs. Ensure that your centers, this place aligns also. Ensure it aligns. So I'll pin it down. So I'll join. Remember my zip allowance that is left is 1.5, because I've turned with a lining on 0.5. So I have 1.5 left. So I'll be measuring 1.5. Then I'll rule a straight line. That's for you to be sure of what you're doing. So 1.5. So this is my zip allowance. That's not straight. So this is my zip allowance. I'll rule it. So I'll place my zip. This is the zip I'm using to get where my zip will be. I just want to know where I'll start. So this is where my zip reach, but I'll go above by 2 inches. Can go above than that depending, or you can go lower, can go 1 inch, just to ensure that this place is not showing on your zip. So I'm going up by 2 inches. So I'll be using loose stitch. That means I won't be top stitching here, so I'll sew from here to here to here. So when I get here, I also measure my 1.5. so when I get here, I'll top stitch. You also call them back stitching now. I'll top stitch or back stitch. So when I do that, I'll continue till I get here. Can see I indicated my where my slit will be starting from here. This is where my slit will be starting from, so I'll place it here. So I'll sew from here till I get here. Measure 1.5. So my sewing is from here to here. So when I get here, I'll also back stitch or top stitch, anyone call it. I'll back stitch or top stitch. So I'll stop my sewing here. So guys, I've joined together. So this is my slit area. Can see. So when I sew, can you see this? I hem like this up here to close it, so that my slit, so I can decide to face my slit on this side like this. So I'll just iron. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to join both my front and my back together now. So I'll be joining the shoulders first. So I'll be joining my shoulders first. Like I do, I'll open up. So I'll be sewing Ankara to Ankara and my lining to my lining. So I will ensure that this side, these lines are lined. Yes, with this. So I'll sew on 0.5 inch like this. Then I'll also sew my lining to my lining on 0.5 inch like this. So this is it. I've fixed my shoulder. Fixed my shoulder. You can see how it looks inside. See how it looks inside. This is the outside. This is it. So you can see my neckline. Yeah, so the next thing I'll be doing now is to fix my sleeve and my zip. So I'll open this place up. That's my back. I'll lose it and I'll fix what's my zip. And I'll also fix my sleeve. This is my sleeve. It's a 3/4 sleeve. Almost 3/4 is long, but it has a flare. I'll be putting a peplon on it like this. Yeah. So I've fixed my zip. This is it. And I've also fixed my sleeve. This is my sleeve. You can see I've not joined it. So I'll be joining together with my sides. So I'll take it from the top here. Like this. So take it like that till I get to this place. You can see this is my back. This is my front. So I can easily just fold this. This is the center. I'll fold it into two like this. I'm doing this because this is a beginner's class. So from here, this is my waist. My waist measurement divided by 4. My waist measurement divided by 4 was a 6.5. So this is my 6.5. You can see that. So this is what I have left. So at least I should have almost 1.5. Yeah, so it's almost 1.5. So I know that I have 1.5 and it's accurate. So I just want to be certain that I still have my 1.5. You know, I use 0.5 to actually turn from my 2 inches that I used for my side seam. So I have 1.5 left on my waist. So that should also be the same here also. I'll be using 1.5. So on my bust area, I used 32 inches for my bust. So divided by 4, that's 8 inches. So I have 9.5 there, you can see. So that means I still have my 1.5 there. So I'm just doing this to let you know that I'm just doing it just to know. So this is 8 inches. So I still have what, my 1.5 left. So this is just to confirm. Normally I'm not supposed to do this. I'm just supposed to take my 1.5, but I just want to do this method for beginners so that you can use it as you begin. But when you get better in sewing, you can just take your and you're accurate with your measurements, to be easier for you to just take your measurements and all that. So this is just what help you not to make mistakes and sew the right thing. So for my hip, I used hip 34, and that's 8.5. I have almost 10 here, which is correct. I have 10 here, which is correct. This is almost 10. So that means I'll still be taking what, my 1.5. So I'll just measure my 1.5. So that means I'll be taking 1.5 all the way through on the sides till I get to the hem, till I get to this down part. Till I get to this place, I'm taking what, 1.5 inch. I'm sewing on both sides, 1.5 inch here, 1.5 inch here. So that's all. And I'll fix my flare for my, that's after I've joined it. I'll fix my flare for my sleeve.